As people grow older, many begin to feel that their body no longer responds the way it once did. The same daily routines feel heavier, recovery takes longer, and discomfort that used to pass quickly now lingers throughout the day. Many assume this is simply a normal part of aging, but the body rarely declines without reason. Most of the time, long before a major illness appears, the body has already been losing balance in quiet and gradual ways. That is why protecting health begins not after a crisis, but before one. It begins by paying attention to the small, repeated habits that shape the direction of the body every single day. The human body is not ruled by one simple factor. Food, sleep, movement, breathing, emotional stability, stress, and environment all affect one another. For that reason, health cannot be restored by chasing only one answer. Some people believe the solution is exercise alone. Others believe the answer is healthy food, nutritional supplements, or a single special method. But the body does not work in separate compartments. You can eat well and still fail to recover if you live in constant tension. You can exercise regularly and still feel exhausted if sleep is poor. You can take supplements every day and still remain unwell if your digestion is overburdened and your mind never settles. True recovery happens when the whole rhythm of life begins to support the body instead of exhausting it. One of the most overlooked causes of decline is stress. Stress is not only an emotional feeling. It is a physical condition in which the body stays alert for too long. A person may appear to be resting, sitting quietly in a chair or lying in bed, yet the body may still be in a state of tension. When the mind is crowded with worry, fear, urgency, and unresolved thoughts, the body does not fully enter recovery mode. Breathing becomes shallow. The shoulders tighten. Sleep grows lighter. The chest feels heavy. Digestion weakens. These changes do not always look serious at first, but over time they reduce resilience. And when resilience declines, the body becomes easier to tire, slower to recover, and more vulnerable to illness. That is why health begins with releasing unnecessary tension. Before adding more treatments, more plans, or more products, it helps to let the body feel safe again. A deep and relaxed breath may seem too simple to matter, yet it is one of the clearest signals of safety the body can receive. When breathing becomes calmer, the body slowly shifts from guarding itself to repairing itself. Many people, especially those who have lived busy and responsible lives, forget how to rest properly. They sit down, but their thoughts keep running. They lie in bed, but the body remains awake. They watch television, yet their mind stays full of concerns. In these cases, recovery does not require something dramatic. It requires repetition of very simple actions. Opening a window in the morning, taking a slow breath before a meal, walking without rushing, sitting in sunlight for a few minutes, eating without swallowing too quickly. These are not flashy methods, but the body often responds more deeply to steady rhythm than to powerful stimulation. Another common mistake is believing that if something is good, then more of it must be better. People often apply this thinking to health foods, vitamins, herbal products, and routines. But the body depends on balance more than intensity. Too little can be harmful, but too much can also create problems. This is especially true for supplements and nutrition. What helped another person may not be right for you. People differ in digestion, medication use, physical strength, and underlying conditions. Before adding more to your body, it is often wiser to ask what burden can be reduced first. If you sleep late every night, adding more supplements may not change much. If you overeat every evening, taking digestive aids will not solve the deeper strain. In many cases, healing begins not by increasing what is marketed as helpful, but by reducing what quietly overwhelms the body every day. Food matters greatly, but even food must be approached with wisdom rather than trends. Many people become trapped in the idea that one food is always good and another is always bad. In reality, the more important question is whether your body can receive food comfortably. As people age, digestion often becomes more sensitive. The same meal that once felt normal may now lead to heaviness, bloating, sleepiness, or discomfort. If eating habits remain unchanged while the body changes, strain builds quietly. Eating too fast, eating too late, chewing too little, or eating beyond fullness all burden digestion. And when digestion becomes overworked, the result is not limited to the stomach. The entire body can feel slower, heavier, and less clear. That is why health is not only about what you eat, but also how much, how fast, and at what time you eat it. A healthy meal is not simply one that sounds nutritious. It is one that leaves the body feeling steady after eating rather than burdened. Water is another area where people often misunderstand balance. Some drink too little all day, others suddenly force down large amounts, because they heard that more water must be healthier. But once again, the body responds better to rhythm than extremes. Drinking small amounts throughout the day is often more helpful than taking in too much at once. Drinking before strong thirst appears can support balance better than waiting until the body feels dry. Movement is also essential, but movement should not be confused with punishing exercise. Many people delay physical activity because they imagine that proper exercise must be intense, exhausting, or difficult. Yet for older adults especially, sustainable movement is far more valuable than dramatic effort. The goal is not to prove strength. The goal is to keep the body awake, circulating, and functional without unnecessary strain. Gentle walking, standing up and sitting down several times, stretching the shoulders, rotating the ankles, lifting the arms, and moving regularly throughout the day can be deeply beneficial. The body weakens quickly when it remains still for too long. Joints stiffen, circulation slows, muscles lose confidence, energy drops. That is why daily movement should be thought of not as a separate task, but as part of living, a little at a time, repeated often, becomes powerful over the long run. Sleep may be one of the most important and most underestimated foundations of health. Sleep is not merely a time when nothing happens. It is the time when the body repairs, clears, restores, and organizes. Physical fatigue is processed during sleep, but emotional strain is also softened there. When sleep breaks down, every other effort becomes less effective. A person may eat well, walk regularly, and try to think positively, yet still feel poor if sleep is consistently insufficient or fragmented. Waking often at night, rising too early without rest, struggling to fall back asleep, or sleeping lightly for weeks or months can all drain the body. Then daytime becomes foggy, mood becomes sensitive, appetite changes, and physical strength slowly fades. Improving sleep often begins not with forcing yourself to sleep, but with reducing what interrupts the body's ability to settle. Late caffeine, heavy nighttime meals, bright screens, too much worry before bed, and irregular sleep hours can all interfere with rest. The body rests best when evening becomes quieter and gentler. Dimmer light, calmer conversation, slower movement, and reduced stimulation help prepare the body to let go of the day. The relationship between body and mind must also be respected. They do not move separately. A tired body can make the mind fragile, and a fearful mind can make the body feel worse. People who have lived with illness or repeated symptoms often become trapped in ongoing worry. They become alert to every sensation. They fear that any discomfort means something is getting worse. This is understandable, but when fear becomes constant, the body remains in defense mode. It uses its energy for guarding rather than healing. The answer is not to deny reality or force fake positivity. Instead, it is to create repeated experiences that remind the body and mind that stability is still possible. Today I walked a little. Today I drank water more regularly. Today I ate slowly. Today I took time to breathe. Today I did not rush every moment. These small confirmations matter. Recovery often begins not with dramatic breakthroughs, but with repeated reassurance. Environment also plays a larger role than many realize. The body lives in the spaces we create for it. Stale air, constant noise, dust, harsh chemical smells, poor lighting, and cluttered surroundings can all add invisible stress. The longer a person stays in one environment, the more strongly that environment influences the body. This is why fresh air, comfortable temperature, soft light, and calm surroundings matter. Ventilation, clean bedding, manageable. Humidity and reduced irritants can make a real difference, especially for people whose breathing, sleep, or fatigue are already sensitive. Health is not only about what we do to the body, but also about the conditions in which the body is asked to live. It is also important to change the way illness itself is understood. Many people hear about disease and immediately feel that life is over. But in many cases, illness can be monitored, managed, and lived with for a long time when the body is supported properly. The most dangerous response is often not the illness itself, but the surrender that follows fear. At the same time, feeling normal or receiving a reassuring test result does not mean the body should be ignored. The body can still send signals before numbers become serious. And when numbers do begin to shift, life can still be redirected. The body continues to respond to present choices. That means it is rarely too late to begin caring differently. Family history and personal tendency are worth understanding, but not worth surrendering to. If certain conditions have appeared repeatedly in the family, that information can help guide attention. It does not mean the same outcome is guaranteed. One person may need to watch blood pressure more carefully. Another may need to pay more attention to blood sugar, digestion, lungs, joints, or emotional health. Genetics can suggest a direction, but lifestyle still influences the road ahead. Another important lesson is to be cautious of exaggerated certainty. Health messages often promise too much. One food, one product, one treatment, one practice, one secret answer. These claims are tempting because people are tired and afraid. But the body is not changed by a single miracle. Supportive methods may help, but they should never replace the essentials. If you are taking medicine, lifestyle still matters. If you are improving lifestyle, regular medical checkups may still matter. Real health is rarely built through extremes. It is built through cooperation between daily living, observation, and appropriate care. Patience is another part of healing that many people struggle with. The body does not completely change in a day. People often try something for a short time and quit because the results are not immediate. But the body did not arrive at its present state overnight. Years of habits, tension, sleep patterns, and emotional wear shape physical conditions slowly. It is only natural that improvement also takes time. In fact, slow improvement is often more genuine and more stable than sudden change. You may first notice smaller signs before larger ones. Maybe you wake up a little less tired. Maybe digestion feels lighter. Maybe your mood is slightly steadier. Maybe you feel less heavy after meals. These small signs matter. If you wait only for dramatic transformation, you may miss the truth that the body is already beginning to respond. Human connection also has health value. Loneliness is not just an emotional issue. It can affect appetite, sleep, motivation, and even the body's overall rhythm. As people age, relationships matter greatly. A conversation, a shared meal, a phone call, a simple exchange of concern can strengthen more than the heart. When a person feels isolated, daily structure often weakens. Meals become irregular. The desire to move decreases. Rest becomes less restorative. That is why caring for health also includes caring for connection. Even small moments of contact can support resilience. Sunlight and nature deserve mention as well. Spending all day indoors can blur the body's sense of day and night. Light plays a role in sleep rhythm, energy, and emotional tone. Simply sitting by a window, stepping outside for a few minutes, or walking gently where there is air and natural light can help the body remember its own timing. Nature is not magic, but it can reduce the overload that modern living places on the nervous system. It gives the body room to soften. Another important part of aging well is learning not to turn against your body. When the body becomes slower, weaker, or less predictable, many people respond with disappointment, anger, or impatience. They compare themselves to the past or to others and begin to treat the body as if it has betrayed them. But the body is not the enemy. It is the companion that has carried you through everything, even now, even when tired or unwell. It is still responding, still adapting, still trying. The body often responds better to trust than to pressure. It does better when cared for gently, not forced harshly. In the end, consistency matters more than intensity. Health is not built by grand declarations that last a few days. It is built by repeatable actions that become part of life. Waking at a similar time, eating slowly, moving a little every day, drinking water regularly, going to bed earlier, breathing before reacting, reducing unnecessary urgency. These habits seem ordinary, but ordinary things practiced steadily become powerful. The body is honest. It reflects how it is treated. If neglected, rushed, and burdened, it will eventually weaken. If supported, calmed, nourished, and respected, it will answer, even later in life. That is why the real question is not what secret cure exists somewhere else. The real question is what in daily life is either harming or helping the body right now. What should be reduced? What should be continued? What should be softened? What should be protected? Health is not a reward given by chance. It is a direction formed by repeated choices. You do not need to change everything at once. Begin with what makes the body feel slightly more at ease. One slower meal, one gentler evening, one calmer breath, one short walk, one less rushed day, one less burden carried into the night. These are not small in the eyes of the body. They are signals. They tell the body that safety, rhythm, and recovery are still possible. And when these signals are repeated often enough, the whole course of life can change. There is no need to chase perfection. Perfection rarely lasts, but steadiness changes the body. Instead of asking how to become well overnight, ask how to live in a way that allows the body to become more comfortable over time. Instead of comparing yourself to others, notice whether you are slightly more stable than yesterday. Instead of searching only for what to add, ask what strain can be removed. The answers are often closer than people think. They are found in how you breathe, how you eat, how you sleep, how you move, how you worry, and how you speak to yourself. If you wish to live longer with less suffering, do not look only for dramatic solutions. Return to the basics that the body has always depended on: rest, rhythm, simplicity, moderación, emotional steadiness, gentle persistence. These are not exciting answers, but they are enduring ones. And endurance is what the aging body needs most. Even now, it is not too late. In many ways, realizing this today is itself a blessing. You do not have to race. You do not have to do everything perfectly. You only have to keep turning in the direction that helps your body feel safer, lighter, steadier, and more supported. Health is not something that suddenly appears one morning. It is something quietly built, one day at a time, one choice at a time, one ordinary act of care at a time. And over time, those ordinary acts become the strongest kind of medicine. So choose the life rhythm that protects your body rather than punishes it. Choose steadiness over panic. Choose patience over frustration. Choose care over neglect. Choose repetition over excitement. The body listens to what we repeat. Let what you repeat become healing. Let your daily life become the place where recovery begins. And as those quiet choices accumulate, they will not only change how your body feels, but also how you live, how you move through your days, and how peacefully you are able to grow older. That is the real foundation of long and gentle health.